So I was like in middle school, they were required us to keep a daily journal in class. It was a thing that I did, and shortly thereafter, took it up. It was kind of how I got into writing. I started to keep a personal journal, and it just seemed like it was something cool, and you could look back on your days, and then here in I would say I'm 37 at 34. I got the bright idea that I was going to go hiking in Runyon Canyon, and I was going to take my black notebook and I was just going to journal and write what I was thinking and what I was feeling. And this is me taking a practice from elementary school and now applying it as an adult and allowing myself. One of the key things that I said is that I was going to allow myself the freedom to write and let out what I was going on. So let me tell you, I sat down, hiked a little bit, got me a Bluetooth speaker, put on my old school jams, and I just started writing and writing and writing. And I think I like pumped out like very quickly like 8 or 9 handwritten pages, front and back. And you don't realize like the crap that you have to get out. And as I was writing and releasing some of this stuff, give you an interesting thing, and this is just again my journaling experience. I was letting out a lot of deep breaths because it seemed like I had a lot of tension that was built up, and writing and getting a lot of this stuff out was being a release. And it was making me think like it's crazy because you sit around here every single day and build up more and more tension and keep going and build up more and more tension and keep going and build up more and more tension and keep going. And you see all these successful people through the ages. And what were they doing? They find their diary or their journal. And it seemed like, well, just in that park, giving myself 30, 40 minutes, 45 minutes to just release and write, and all of that tension melting away and coming away from that experience. Imagine if this thing that I did in elementary school that seemed like, oh, it's just something that the teacher's making me do, that being done daily, what if that took some of the edge off of all of the crazy stuff that we have to deal with in our daily life? Another thing which was really tremendous is that once I started journaling, a lot of the stuff that I was journaling about, it, um, and some of the things, I keep it real. I wrote about some of my problems and my worries and my fears, and some of those things, when those worries and fears came up, I end up writing so much about them and surrounding them that I end up solving and creating a solution around those things. And again, we go around taking challenge after thing we got to put out, when we could take some time to sit back and reflect. And again, doing this daily with melting the tension and solving some of the daily problems is, I mean, it's a powerful thing. And it was funny is that I had spent so much time, and then I call myself doing that like, okay, when I get a chance. I was saying in my head, like, well, I came out here Saturday, but something said, whether you out here hiking or whatever. So I spent several days journaling and ended up getting to like a few weeks. And when I was going back on things I wrote initially and kind of reviewing the things, you could see like where your head is, and you start to see patterns, and you start to piece things together that you know how to move forward. Now, this works not just for a person that's just writing in a journal to write in it, but if you want to use it as an effective tool, like a part two is that you go and take a journal for 2 or 3 weeks and go back and start observing and reading the previous entries, and you'll have lessons and gems that'll come out of that you'll know how to move going forward, and you'll start to tighten your game or tighten whatever you're working on, because we're good for doing things, but paying attention and analyzing and seeing what things work and don't work, that's where we lack. And that's what, my journaling experience was, is a therapeutic release. I started to be less stressed. I started to sleep a lot better. I started to work out a lot of things, and a lot of things, as I said before, I could work them out. They ended up working themselves out.